How to use NotebookLM video for beginners. Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys step by step on how you can get started with Google's most amazing note-taking and research application, and how you can convert any of your PDFs or your audio into amazing explainer videos. So let's jump right in. What exactly is NotebookLM? NotebookLM is your AI-powered research partner, which allows you to upload your own resources as well as link to resources or sources, and you're able to get instant insights, convert them into podcasts, convert them into video, and so much more. To get started is completely for free, so simply head on over to notebooklm.google and then click on Try NotebookLM. Once you do that, this will load up your notebooks. In your workspace, you have two spaces, so it has featured notebooks, then you have My Notebooks, and then you can get started with your brand new notebook. Simply click on Create New Notebook. Once you do that, you're going to add your sources. To add your own sources, simply click on Upload Files, and then you can upload your own file. Let's say I have this particular thing that I want to upload, and just like so, I can upload my own resource. Now, if you don't have your own resources, you can just click on Add, and you can add them from a website or YouTube as well. So if there's a YouTube video, or if there is a website article, or any website that contains information that you want to use, you can add that over here. You can also copy text, so if there's text that you have that is relevant information, you can copy and paste that over here as well. Add all of your relevant resources. Once you've done that, you will see on the bottom, it will create a couple of different questions. So you can use these sample questions, you can ask any question of your own, and keep in mind it's not going to pull information from anywhere else. It's only going to pull information from your resource. So if I ask it a really random question, does breaking flowers hurt the plant? And this is a question that is not relevant to my overall information at all. There is no information available about whether breaking flowers hurts the plant. The sources are exclusively discussing semaglutide, its mechanisms, affect metabolic health, as well as body composition and practicalities of use. So you guys can see that even if you ask it a very generalized question, it's not going to give you a random answer because it only draws information from your resources. Now, to get started with converting it into a video, just select the relevant resources. You can select one or multiple or all of them. You can add upwards of 50 sources in one notebook, then click on Video Overview on the right. This creates a explainer video presented to you by AI. Currently, this only supports English. Once you click on it, your video will start being created. However, it does take some time. It can take anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes. So I have already prepared one using 10 resources. You guys can see that I selected only 4 out of my 10 resources here, and this is my video on the right side. I'm going to click on play to show you guys what it looks like and how long it is, what the pace looks like, so you guys can see how these explainer videos are going to function. This was created entirely using NotebookLM, and I didn't do any editing or anything at all. All I did was link all of my resources. And now I'll show you guys exactly what my sample video looks like. So this is my video, and I'm gonna play this over here.
Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most talked about drugs on the entire planet. We're going to uncover the full story behind its game-changing effects. Okay, you've seen the headlines, right? Semaglutide, that's the active ingredient in drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy. It's absolutely changing lives. But here's the thing, as that number on the scale drops, there's this huge question that almost nobody's asking. What kind of weight are you actually losing? So to really get the full picture, let's start with why these drugs blew up and became this global phenomenon. Yeah, this is not just another diet pill, not even close.
So you guys can see this is what the video looks like. Now I'm gonna turn on the playback speed. I'm gonna fast forward this so you guys can see the entire video, all the visuals, and then we're gonna move forward and we're gonna build some new content using NotebookLM.
Semaglutide is a whole new class of medication, and it's forcing a massive rethink in the medical world about how we treat really tough chronic conditions like obesity and type 2 diabetes. So you've probably heard of both Ozempic and Wegovy, and yeah, they have the exact same active ingredient, semaglutide. But, and this is key, they're actually approved for different things. Ozempic is primarily for type 2 diabetes, while Wegovy is for weight management. That's why you'll often see them prescribed in different doses. Okay, so what is the science behind this? How in the world does one little molecule have such a huge impact? All right, semaglutide is what's called a GLP-1 agonist. I know that sounds super technical, but the idea behind it is actually pretty brilliant. It basically copies a natural hormone your gut makes right after you eat. And the hormone, GLP-1, is one of the main signals that tells your brain, hey, we're good here, you can stop eating now. So what's so cool is that the drug isn't doing something totally scaling into your body. It's just amplifying a signal that's already there. It's almost literally like turning up the volume on your body's I'm full signal. That feeling of being satisfied, it just gets way more intense and lasts a lot longer. So you naturally eat less. And it does this in 3 main ways. First, it hits your brain to dial down your appetite. Second, it actually slows down how fast your stomach empties, which is a big part of why you feel full for so long. And third, it gives your pancreas a little nudge to release the right amount of insulin when you have sugar. That last part is why it works so well for type 2 diabetes. And when you put all that together, well, the results we're seeing in clinical trials are, to be honest, absolutely stunning. Look, we're not talking about just a few pounds. In some of the big clinical trials, patients were losing, on average, more than 15% of their body weight. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's a number we really only used to see with something like bariatric surgery. And get this, it's not even just about the scale. There was this huge landmark study called the SELECT trial that found these incredible benefits for your heart. For people who already have heart disease, semaglutide cut the risk of heart attack or stroke by a whopping 20%. That's because it's also helping with things like blood pressure, inflammation, and cholesterol. Okay, so the results are powerful. There's just no denying it. But, and this is a big but, this brings us right to the central question of this whole explainer. When you see that number on the scale go down, you just assume it's all facts, right? But is it? Well, a big review of a bunch of different scientific trials was just published. And it turns out the answer is way more complicated than you think. Okay, so before we get into the findings, we gotta be clear on 2 different things. You have fat mass, that's basically stored energy, and then you have lean body mass. That's, well, everything else. Your muscles, your bones, your organs. And the really critical part here is your muscle, because that's your metabolic engine. It's the part of you that's burning calories 24/7, even when you're just sitting there. And this is the key finding from that big review. When they crunched the numbers from all these different studies, they found that, yeah, most of the weight loss was fat, but a really significant chunk of it, we're talking up to 40% in some cases, was actually lean body mass. In other words, muscle. And this wasn't just some small detail buried in the paper. The researchers put it right there in their conclusion. They said these notable reductions in lean mass are a real concern. It's something both patients and their doctors really need to be paying attention to. So that brings us to the most important question of all. So what? Why does it even matter if you lose some muscle along with the fat? Well, here's the crucial point. When you lose muscle, you're weakening that calorie burning engine we talked about. That lowers what's called your basal metabolic rate, your BMR. That's just the baseline number of calories your body burns to keep the lights on. And if that number goes down, it becomes so much easier to put the weight right back on if you ever stop the medication. And that is exactly why you hear experts saying over and over that semaglutide isn't a magic bullet you take in isolation. It's an incredibly powerful tool for sure. For it to really work long term, it has to be part of a bigger plan. We're talking a healthy diet and just as important, regular exercise, especially things like weightlifting or resistance training to hold on to that muscle. And of course, this all has to be done with the doctor watching over everything. So this all leaves us with a really big question for the future, right? As these amazing drugs become more and more common, how are we going to find success? Is it just about hitting a certain number on the scale, or is it about something more, like the quality of the weight you lose?
So you guys have now seen the entire video overview that I created, which was basically about Ozempic and semaglutide and GLP-1s. And the quality of the video is impeccable. The sound is amazing. The resources, it honestly took all of the basic information from all of my resources and combined it in a really amazing way. Now, the best part about using NotebookLM is that you can click on download over here and download your video as well. And you can also click on the share icon to share this video with other people. So if you want, you can add people and groups, or you can also create a public viewing link and share that with other people. So if you want to build your own video on any topic, you can just click on create notebook and build a new notebook. The only limitation that there is the number of sources you can add. You can add upwards of 50, and I don't really think you need more than 50 oftentimes. But if your use case is so extensive, you might want more than 50, you can always upgrade to a pro subscription of Google AI. Now I'm going to click on discover sources, and I'm just going to click on flowers. I'm interested in flowers and I want to know more about them. And then I can just select all the resources that are recommended to me by Google's NotebookLM. Once I do that, I'm just going to click on import. Then I can click on audio overview, video overview if I want an explainer video, and even build my own mind maps. And I'll show you guys another example of mind maps as well. So that was our video, and I also created a podcast version of our video, not of our video, of the same resources. And then here is a quiz version as well. So I created a study guide for this as well. Within that, I have also been able to create some really nice mind maps. So this is an example of a mind map that you can create using NotebookLM, and it includes these really amazing arrows which expand and contract. So let's say I don't need the definition, I don't need to know about organizational behavior, I don't have to keep this open, I can close this out, so on and so forth. You are able to categorize information and extract the relevant information that you require. So I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions or queries, make sure to leave those in the comments down below.